Hello everyone, welcome to another episode from More Pharmacy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the spectrum of fluoroquinolones. Okay, before we go into the spectrum of fluoroquinolones, we must know three things. First thing, suppose uh, this is gram negative bacteria. This one is gram positive bacteria. And there are two topoisomers. Those are responsible for the prevention of supercoiling in the bacteria that leads to the DNA synthesis. And those topoisomerase are topoisomerase 2 and topoisomerase 4. And both are involved in the synthesis of the DNA. Topoisomerase 2, which is also called as DNA gyrase, and this topoisomerase 4 is also present in the bacterial cell, and it detaches the newly formed DNA, which is daughter in nature from the parent DNA. So this is parent one, and this is daughter one, and these are being separated from each other by this topoisomerase 4. Parent DNA and this is daughter DNA. And these two being are separated by topoisomerase 4. And topoisomerase 2 is called DNA gyrase, which actually prevents the DNA supercoiling and promotes the synthesis of the daughter DNA. Okay, these are the two main functions of these two topoisomerase 2 and topoisomerase 4 enzyme. Topoisomerase. Topoisomerase. Okay. Now come with these two circles. Uh, One is gram-negative bacteria and other one is gram-positive bacteria. Okay. So it is said that in gram-negative bacteria, the topoisomerase 2 is in excess, and in gram-positive bacteria, topoisomerase 4 is in excess. Means the population of topoisomerase 4 is greater uh, as compared to topoisomerase 2. Okay. And in gram-negative bacteria, the population of topoisomerase 2 is greater than that of the topoisomerase 4. Okay, this is the first thing that we should know before we start the spectrum of fluoroquinolones. Okay, second thing, the second thing is that there are 4 generations of the fluoroquinolones, and first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation. And it is said that the older generation, or means the first and somehow second generation, or the we can say older generation, older generation. The older generation fluoroquinolones means first generation and somehow second generation, they have higher affinity, higher affinity for topoisomerase 2. And if we talk about the newer generation, means third generation and fourth generation, or newer generation, they have higher affinity for topoisomerase 4. So that's why older generation fluoroquinolones uh, mainly mainly control gram negative bacteria, and newer generation mainly control gram positive bacteria. So that's why if we have a brief about the spectrum of fluoroquinolone, then we can write in this way. Suppose This is the first generation, and this is the fourth generation. And as we move from first to fourth generation, the activity against gram-positive increases. Gram-positive. And if we move from fourth to first generation, the activity against gram-negative increases. So this is the spectrum of fluoroquinolones. Now come towards the bacteria, those are controlled by uh, these drugs. Let's talk about the gram-negative bacteria. Gram-negative bacteria. The first bacteria is H. influenzae. H. influenzae. The second one is Moraxella catarrhalis. Moraxella catarrhalis. Catarrhalis. The third one is Neisseria. Both species of Neisseria that are Neisseria gonorrhoeae and Neisseria meningitis. Gyrase. The fourth bacteria is E. coli. The fifth one is Klebsiella pneumoniae. Klebsiella, Klebsiella, Klebsiella pneumoniae. And the last family of bacteria is Enterobacteriaceae family. Enterobacteriaceae family. So this is all about the gram-negative bacteria Those are controlled by fluoroquinolones and mainly the first and second generation. The reason is that in gram-negative bacteria, the population of topoisomerase 2 is more and older generation has greater affinity for topoisomerase 2. So in this way, these bacteria are mainly controlled by older generation. But now come towards the gram-positive bacteria. Gram-positive bacteria. So in the gram-positive bacteria, the first bacteria is Staph aureus, Staphylococcus aureus. The next one is Listeria monocytogenes or L monocytogenes. Other one is Streptococci, Streptococci. So these are the gram-positive bacteria. Those are controlled by fluoroquinolones. Now come towards atypical bacteria. Atypical bacteria. Atypical bacteria are those that neither give gram-positive strain nor gram-negative strain. For example, Chlamydia species, Chlamydia, Chlamydia, Chlamydia trachomatis, trachomatis, and Chlamydia pneumoniae. And it is said that atypical bacteria are also controlled by newer fluoroquinolones. Newer fluoroquinolones. Now come towards the anaerobes. Anaerobes. anaerobes are mainly involved in the intra, abdominal infection, and these anaerobes are also controlled by newer generation means third and fourth generation. Mainly the drug in the intra-abdominal infection associated with anaerobes controlled by trovafloxacin. Trovafloxacin. So this is the spectrum of fluoroquinolones. Okay, let's read that. For the synthesis of the DNA, there are two subtypes of topoisomerase, this enzyme. Topoisomerase 2 and topoisomerase 4. Topoisomerase 2 is called DNA gyrase, and it prevents the supercoiling of the DNA and promotes the DNA synthesis. Topoisomerase 4, it detaches the newly formed daughter DNA from parent DNA. This is parent DNA, and this is newly formed daughter DNA. So these are separated by the activity of topoisomerase 4. Okay. And in the gram-negative bacteria, the population of topoisomerase 2 enzyme is more, and in gram-positive bacteria, the population of the topoisomerase 4 is more. And it is said that the older generation, means first and second generation, they have higher affinity for topoisomerase 2, and newer generation have higher affinity for topoisomerase 4. So that's why the older generation controls the gram-negative bacteria, and newer generation controls the gram-positive bacteria. Means if we move from first to fourth generation, the activity against gram-positive will be increased. And if we move from fourth to first generation, the activity against gram-negative will be increased. Okay, the bacteria which are controlled by fluoroquinolones are H. influenzae, Moraxella catarrhalis, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, and Neisseria meningitidis, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, and Enterobacteriaceae family of species. Family. It is a whole family which contains gram-negative bacteria. Family. Okay. And gram-positive bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus, Listeria monocytogenes, and Streptococci comes under the gram-positive bacteria and controlled by newer generation. Atypical microbes like Chlamydia trachomatis and Chlamydia pneumoniae, these are also controlled by newer generation. Means that these atypical also have higher population for the topoisomerase 4. Anaerobes, those are responsible for intra-abdominal infection, are controlled by newer generation. And the bacteria in this anaerobes is B. fragilis, bacteroid fragilis. So this is the spectrum of fluoroquinolone. If you people enjoy the video, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much for your cooperation.